grateful to be with you for another week. I'm Tim Fortescue, an IFS practitioner, and the IFS model has been so healing for me, and I'm so grateful to be able to share it with others. And so, do this each week, same time on Tuesdays. And so, as we go throughout our time, if you have questions, type them in the chat. If you're joining live or if you're watching a recording, go ahead and interact in the chat there too, and I'll do my best to take note of the questions you have and bring them up next week when I go live. And you can always send me an email to tim@faithfullygrowing.com if that's easier for you. If you haven't already, I encourage you to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can be made aware when I go live and post new content, and it helps others find the lives too, as it may be helpful for them. And before I jump into our content, I want to invite you to join me tomorrow if you're watching this live via Zoom for an Ask Me Anything session. It's going to be at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is U.S. Chicago time. And so would love for you to join me for that. Just send me an email, tim@faithfullygrowing.com, to let me know that you're coming, and would love to interact with you live via Zoom tomorrow, 11 o'clock Central Standard Time. So yeah, I think that is it for now. And so let's jump into our content for just a bit. And if IFS is new to you, you can find more by visiting my website, faithfullygrowing.com. But today I'm going to talk just a little bit about recognizing patterns in our lives, and the thoughts, the feelings, or behaviors that keep repeating, and to try to get curious about the parts of us that show up during those times of those patterns that we recognize. Because we all have recurring behaviors, thoughts, feelings that show up in our lives. Those are our parts, among many other things. And these patterns, where these parts show up, often automatically, even when we want to change them, we can't get out of those patterns because it's just ingrained. Those neural pathways are there, but there's hope for healing and for change. And understanding these patterns is one of the keys to self-awareness and growth and healing. And so grateful for those who are joining. As I go throughout, if you have questions, type them in the chat. I'm going to give it just a bit more content, and then I'm going to lead us in a meditation. But in IFS, recurring patterns are driven by different parts of us. And these parts develop patterns as protective mechanisms, often from past experiences. And our parts are not bad. They're no bad parts, right? They're not wrong. They're trying to help us, even if their methods aren't always best today. Our parts often don't realize that we're grown up now and things are different. And an example I'll share from my own personal life and story is the part that drives me to overwork, which I've named my taskmaster. Maybe you can relate to that. But this part was trying to protect me from feelings of unworthiness by pushing me to constantly achieve, and by saying, you make one mistake and you're going back to, in my case, Appalachia, the southeastern part of the United States and beyond, where you came from. And you probably still belong there. This part can chime in and say, and recognizing and working with this part, and it's still ongoing work, it helps me create balance and healthier behaviors. And when we recognize the pattern that keeps showing up, get curious about the part or parts that show up in that pattern and ask ourselves, what is this part trying to protect us from? And we can learn a lot. And as we approach our parts with compassion rather than trying to shut them down or suppress them, we can learn, we can make connections with other parts, and we can realize that all of our parts are on the same team and we're not alone. And in a community setting like this, we can see not only is it within us, but without and with others. There's a human connection there that we can all relate to. And so, what patterns are recurring in your life? And I see the chats that are coming there. I will get back to those when I'm finished with the meditation. So hang tight and know that I'm not ignoring you there. Which patterns are responsible, which parts are responsible or show up during those patterns? And how can you approach these parts with curiosity and compassion to begin shifting? And I'm going to guide us in a meditation and check in to help do that. So see what you notice as we do this. And as we begin the meditation, find a comfortable position, either seated or lying down. Or maybe you have parts that are very active and you just want to slowly do a walking meditation. About 5 or 10 feet one way, turn around 5 or 10 feet the other way, and just listen to my voice in that slow walking rhythm. You're welcome to do that too. If it's appropriate, you can close your eyes if you'd like. Just let your body relax into the surface beneath you, allowing your breath to flow naturally. Take a few deep breaths at your own pace. And as you settle into this space, begin to gently bring your awareness to your life. Think about the patterns that tend to show up for you. As you do this, bring your focus to your internal world. Which parts show up around these patterns? These could be recurring behaviors, emotions, or thoughts. Things that seem to happen on repeat. No matter how much you try to change them. Without judgment, simply notice which pattern feels most present for you today. It could be a habit of overworking, procrastination. Maybe it's feeling anxious in certain situations. Maybe it's a pattern of self-doubt. Just let whatever comes come naturally into your awareness. Now, with a gentle curiosity, and if it's hard to tap into that curiosity, notice it's likely other parts that are jumping in. Acknowledge them, see if they could soften back and just observe and give some space. Then if you can extend just a drop of that curiosity, see if you can focus on one pattern. There's no need to analyze or fix right now. Just notice that it's there. And once you've recognized a pattern, allow yourself to connect with the part of you that is showing up there. Or maybe there's more than one part, but notice those parts, those thoughts, feelings, actions, impulses, beliefs that show up in that pattern. And you don't need to know exactly what the part or parts look like or why they're there right away. Just simply invite your awareness and notice. And if you have more than one part, see if there's one part that you can pick or that you notice may need some attention today. Or maybe it's a group of parts that are clustered together, but they're very familiar with one another. That works too. And then sense in and see where you're noticing that part or group of parts in or around your body. Maybe there's a tightness in the chest or a feeling in the belly. And as you notice, just check in and see, how are you feeling toward those parts or that part? And if there's resistance, something other than calmness, curiosity, compassion, a sense of wanting to understand the connection and connectedness with this part, it's likely another part, and just see if it could soften back and witness with the other parts, knowing that it can have some attention in the future too. But as we get to know our parts, it's easier one at a time, and the parts that witness generally gain some insight too. And then gently turn back to the part that you've picked or you're noticing the most. And see if you could extend just a drop of curiosity, compassion. You may sense its presence as a visual, but just take a bit and spend some time with that part that you're noticing the most. And if you can't sense it clearly, that's okay. Simply allow the part that's showing up in this pattern or parts to know that you're here and you're paying attention. You're ready to listen. And now, with a sense of openness, let's get curious about this part. You might silently ask it a few questions, like, what's your role in my life? What are you trying to do for me by showing up in this way? And take a few moments to listen to any responses. These may come in the form of words, images, sensations, or simply an inner knowing. Whatever shows up's okay. Just allow this part to express itself. Maybe ask, what are you trying to protect me from? And if the part answers that, maybe an indication of the younger inner child part that may think you're 3 today instead of 40, 30, 50. And that you're capable of driving the bus in your life. And as you begin to understand this part's role, take a moment to offer it compassion. This part's trying to help, even if its methods don't always feel helpful to you. And you might say to this part something either silently or out loud. Thank you for your hard work. I see you now, that you're trying to protect me, and I appreciate your efforts. Just notice how the part responds. Simply acknowledging its protective role can often create a sense of relief or connection. Let this part know that you're open to working together in a way that's healthier and more balanced. And before we wrap up, if it feels right, you can ask the part one more question. What do you need from me right now? Listen for its response. It may need reassurance, rest, or simply the permission to step back a little, knowing that you're safe now. It doesn't have to work so hard. And as we begin to close this meditation, take a few moments to thank the part that came forward today. Let it know you're here. Thank it for its courage, for as much or as little as it shared. And then gently shift your awareness back to your breath. The present moment. And when you're ready, slowly bring your attention back to where you are now. You can open your eyes if they were closed and take a look back and see if I can give any insight to any of your questions. Yes, Mahakal, I like to think I'm open-minded and I'm okay with not knowing and mystery. And yeah, I would think you're onto something there. I hope you are. And it's encouraging to me that you can sense that. And recovery, soul food, yeah, protecting from rejection. And then the shame that comes for that underneath is often that what we call exiles in internal family systems, those young inner child parts that have been pushed down. And Mahakal, yeah, just kind of be gentle. Trust your intuition there, and you do what's right for you. And Mahakal, I haven't had a lot of insight with psychedelics personally, but I would say that there's definitely healing that I've known folks who have used those in their journey, and it's been helpful. And there are folks that not may not be their thing, and trust where you are and what you need too. I think we can trust ourselves, and we can trust that there's something bigger than us, for sure. Okay, and I think those seem to be the questions for now, but so grateful for this community. Thanks for joining, and I look forward to continuing to interact as it makes sense. I mean, yeah, let's be gentle with ourselves and all those parts that come up. And yeah, we're all doing the best we can with what we have. And so grateful for your courage in joining, and take care.